Fear. It's the number one thing that keeps people stuck after a herpes diagnosis. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, and fear of never finding love again. And that fear is real. But here's the thing. It's not coming from herpes itself. It's actually coming from what we've been taught to believe about it. The stigma, the stories, and the meaning we attach to it. And as long as you keep believing these stories and letting the fear call the shots, you'll stay stuck right where you are. Hi, I'm Kat Dupree, and I help people to navigate life with herpes. And if this is your first time listening to the Herpes Wellness Podcast, I just want to take this moment and welcome you. I am so glad you're here. This episode is one I think every person who's ever felt afraid of the unknown after a diagnosis needs to hear. So many people I've talked to, whether newly diagnosed or living with herpes for years, have told me that they're scared of what their future looks like now. They worry that the life they pictured for themselves, especially the part about finding love, is no longer possible. That somehow everything they dreamed of has been erased by their diagnosis. And I get it, because I've been there too. There were so many nights that I literally sat there thinking my life as I knew it was over. Have you ever felt that way? If so, I want you to know that those thoughts that you're having couldn't be further from the truth. Because what I eventually discovered was that it wasn't herpes holding me back. It was fear. That fear of rejection, fear of judgment, or fear of feeling embarrassed. Not just from potential partners, but from my friends and family too. That fear dictated every move I made, and it kept me from putting myself out there. And it also kept me from finding love again. And for years, I let it take control of my entire life. But here's the thing. That fear was creating the reality I didn't want. One where I wasn't finding the love I wanted and the love I truly deserved. Fear kept me stuck. And the things I'm about to share with you help me move past that fear, open my heart again, and find the love of my life. So stay with me through this episode, because at the end, I'm going to share 3 takeaways and something that you can put into practice so that you could start breaking through fear and find the love and the life that you want and deserve too. Now, before we dive in, I want to talk about fear for a moment, because fear convinces you that you're protecting yourself, but like I mentioned before, what it's really doing is keeping you stuck. It tells you to hide, to stay quiet, and not to take chances. It makes you think that you're being smart, but in reality, it's robbing you of connection, love, and experiences that could literally change your life. So many people are afraid to tell someone they have herpes. They're afraid of what others might think, afraid someone will walk away, and afraid that they'll never be loved the same again. I bet you felt this way too. And that fear, it literally becomes your identity. It shapes every single choice, every conversation, and every relationship. But here's the thing. Fear doesn't go away on its own. And if you want to live the life you actually want, you've got to face it. And this is where courage comes in. Courage isn't about not being scared. It's about being scared and doing what you want to do anyway. It's the moment you decide to tell someone your status, no matter what the outcome will be. For example, say you're at an event and you want to go talk to someone, but then that fear sets in, right? You start playing out all the typical scenarios in your head, and you think it's not even worth it, because if I eventually have to tell them that I have herpes, they're just going to reject me anyway, so why even bother? That's the fear of rejection talking. But now imagine what would happen if you faced that fear and talked to that person anyway. I mean, like, what's the worst that can happen? Can you still get rejected? Sure, of course you can. But there's also a possibility that you won't, and that it could lead to something real and maybe even something super amazing. Take my story, for instance. When I finally came out to my partner, even after all the emotional work I had done to heal, I was still scared as hell. I mean, my heart was pounding. I felt so sick to my stomach. And then there was this moment that I thought, well, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. But I took a deep breath. I grabbed my laptop and I showed them the community that I wanted to build, which was Herpes Wellness. And that was the moment that I came out. Then when he got quiet and stood up and went to the damn bathroom to process, my heart sank and the fear and thoughts from it got like really loud in my head. Fear of what he'd say when he came back. Fear of how it would change everything. But in that moment, I decided to let go of the control of the outcome and reminded myself that the only thing I could control was how I handled his reaction. And that realization changed everything because right then, I knew I'd be okay no matter what happened. Then fear turned into something else. Relief. I'm serious. Like I felt this huge weight lift off my shoulders because I was no longer hiding. I was being real and it felt damn good. And that's exactly what courage does. It makes you feel frigging awesome because you did the very thing that scared you most. You got through it and you were like, yes, I did it. I did it, right? And when you feel that way, when that confidence starts to build, everything in your life begins to shift. You start to see that fear doesn't control you anymore unless you let it. I mean, every time you face fear, you build up more confidence. And then the more confidence you build, the less rejection or other people's opinions affect you. You stop letting that stuff define your worth. Because what matters most is that you had the guts to stand up for yourself. I mean, that's what courage is. It's not pretending you're fearless. It's proving to yourself that fear doesn't get to run your life anymore. You do. And you know what else courage does? It shows you who's really in your corner. It actually gives you a scale of who gives a damn about you and who's willing to see past your diagnosis and love you for all you are. Because when you face your fears and disclose with confidence, you stop worrying about who's going to stay or who's going to go. You just let the chips fall where they may. And when you get to that point, it feels incredible because now you're in the driver's seat, not your fear, and definitely not your diagnosis. And that's the moment your reality starts to shift. Now, I want to talk about something you might not even realize you're doing. You're creating the reality of how your diagnosis defines you every day, whether you know it or not. Every thought, every story you tell yourself, every fear you feed into, it all shapes what you experience. Because what you focus on, you start to live out. If you're focused on fear, rejection, and judgment, that's exactly what your life is going to reflect back to you. You'll start seeing proof of it everywhere. And not because it's true, but because it's like what you're training your mind to look out for. That's how powerful your thoughts are. But when you start shifting out of fear and into courage, everything starts to look different. Your energy changes and the people that you attract change. Even how you see yourself changes. Because courage isn't just an action. It's an energy that rewires how you show up in the world. When you choose courage, you start creating a new reality. One that's not based on fear or limitation, but based on confidence, truth, and freedom. It's about taking your power back. It's about deciding that your diagnosis doesn't get to define you or what kind of love you get to have. You're the one creating that story every single day with your thoughts and your choices. So the real question becomes, what kind of reality do you want to create for yourself? So, before we wrap up, here are a few key takeaways. Number 1, fear never really disappears, but it doesn't have to control you. Courage is feeling it and doing it anyway. Number 2, the story you tell yourself becomes your reality. So if that story is full of fear, it's time for you to rewrite it, and only you can do that. Number 3, start small. Say what you mean and show up as yourself. Every act of courage builds confidence, and confidence changes everything. And finally, here's something that you can practice every time you feel that fear creeping on in. Write down one fear that's been holding you back from moving past your diagnosis. Look at it and ask yourself, is this really true, or is this just fear talking? Then take one small act of courage that proves that fear wrong. And then when you're done, write it down as a reminder that you can do anything that you set your mind to, and that you already have the courage and the confidence to create the life that you've always imagined. Well, that's all I have for today. If you liked today's episode, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, I want to invite you to join our free online community by downloading the Herpes Wellness app. There, you'll have free access to our forums where you can ask questions, seek advice, and help other members along their journeys. And for a limited time, anyone who signs up for the free support membership, we're going to upgrade you to the Connection membership, which includes access to a whole bunch of really cool features, like a listing in our member directory and member search, direct messaging with other members, a group and Love Connection chat lounge, member-led events, both virtual and in person, plus monthly live streams with me where we talk about everything herpes. Normally, this membership is $19 a month, but you'll get this access for free for as long as you remain a member. And if you're wondering about privacy, we've got you totally covered. The app icon and push notifications say H Wellness. So if someone happens to see your screen, you won't disclose your status unintentionally. So be sure to join us at Herpes Wellness. The link to download the app for both the App Store and in Google Play is in the description box below. And if there are any herpes topics you'd like for me to discuss on the show, please leave it in the comments. I would just love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you the next time on the Herpes Wellness Podcast. Bye for now.